Hey everyone, hope you are doing great. Welcome back to AccioJob channel, and in this video we are going to discuss a really important topic, which is HTML lists. This will include lists like unordered lists, ordered lists and description lists. Also, if you are having any doubts, any problems with this series, you can always use the comment section and tell us whatever doubts you are having and we can get them resolved. So let's get right into this video. Alright, so these are all the topics which we are going to discuss in this video. So first we are going to discuss what are lists and why are they used, and then we are going to take a look at the unordered lists, and then we want to take a look at ordered lists, and then we'll discuss some other lists which are generally used in HTML, which is description list, right? So okay, so let's go to VS Code, and what I'll do here, I'll just add an index.html file, right? So okay, so every time what we do is we do an exclamation mark and we press enter, right? So this time what I want to do is I don't want to do this automatical code abbreviation completion. So for once, let's just write the whole boilerplate code for ourselves, right? So what I'll do, I'll just type an HTML tag here. So this is the basic boilerplate code if you want to write from scratch. So write the HTML tag, then I want to add a head tag, and under that head tag, which is a sibling of this head tag, I want to add a body tag, right? And inside this head tag, what I want to do is I want to type a title tag, right? Just a second, title. So this is a title tag, right? So in this title tag, maybe I want to do give the title to the website, which is lists in HTML, right? Okay, let's type HTML in capital because that's how it's written. Okay, so let's just click on show preview and close this browser. So you can see that there is a web page which has been created, and the title of that web page is lists in HTML, which means that our boilerplate code is working, right? Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to create lists. Okay, so let's discuss lists in HTML. So before discussing lists, let us discuss what are lists and why are they used. So lists are nothing but basically if you want to display some data in form of an order, right? Maybe you want to display some steps on your website, or maybe you want to display some features of any product. Maybe on Amazon you see that there are a lot of features given, right? So this is how like we can add features to a web page, or maybe you want to add ingredients for your food dishes on your website. So this is how lists are used. In lists, what they do basically, the lists tags in this HTML, they display the list in a bulleted or a numbered or an alphanumeric format, so 1 2 3 4 and data in front of them, or maybe bullets and data in front of them. This is how lists does this work. And why are lists used? I've discussed this already, so you can see the application from amazon.com, or maybe you can see many applications in lists, right? So this is how basically these are lists, and this is why they are used, right? Okay, so let's move on with this video and let's just discuss the ordered lists, right? So basically we are having three types of lists, so I'll just list them here. So let's use h1 tag. So first we'll discuss ordered lists, right? Then we'll discuss unordered lists, then we'll discuss the description lists, or maybe I'll say description list. Okay, ordered lists, unordered list and description list. We are using h1 tag because we have already discussed about this tag. Okay, so yeah, first let's discuss ordered lists. So sometimes what happens is you want to display data in numbered format, or 1 2 3 4 or ABCD format, right? Which defines an order, right? For example, you want to give the user some steps, right, to follow. So you give them in an order. Maybe you want to give ingredients to the user, so you want to give basically an order. So basically whenever you're trying to give instructions, you give an order, given ordered lists, right? So this is how this is why ordered lists are important. And let's discuss how to make one ordered list. So what you do is there's a tag called OL tag, which is ordered list tag. So I'll just write this OL tag and I'll just close it. VS Code will automatically add the closing tag. Remember, closing tags are really important. You cannot just keep this tag open forever. You have to close a nested tag, right? So I've defined an ordered list. So what happened is that you can see there is no change on the website. I've added this OL tags and there is still no change on this website. Okay. All right. So how can we bring a change? So I want to display a list. So for that list, that list must be containing some list elements, right? मैंने वेबसाइट को ये तो बता दिया कि वेबसाइट इज हैविंग एन ऑर्डर्ड लिस्ट, राइट, बट मैंने ये नहीं बताया कि व्हाट डेटा शुड बी प्रेजेंट इन दैट ऑर्डर्ड लिस्ट, राइट. So for this, what we do is we use the li tag. So li tag is basically used to define a list item, right? So I just press enter and you can see that one dot has appeared here. And if I add any data, let's say data 1, so you can see that this data is coming after this one dot which is appeared, right? I'll zoom in a little bit if it is not visible. So this data 1 is now like has appeared on the screen. Okay, all right. So what we'll do is just that we'll now discuss the other. We can also add other like data members. So what I'll do, I'll just add li and I'll just press multiplied by 3, right? And okay, so I'll just press enter and you can see that there are 3 li tags now, like VS Code has automatically managed to do that for me. So okay, so how is that possible? So this is possible because VS Code gives this functionality where you can tag, you can write a tag and you can write a multiplication sign and you can write 5 maybe, or maybe any number, and it will definitely give you this abbreviation and complete the code for those 5 lists. You don't have to code again and again, right? Okay, so this is something, some extra knowledge which you can gain from this. So this is how you see that we can define a list element, right? Okay, I'll just add data 2 here and I'll just add data 3 here. All right. So we are having this data 1, data 2 and data 3 here. Okay. So maybe you might be asking me that Rohan, maybe we want this data to be displayed in ABCD format rather than 1, 2, 3 format, right? So what should we do now? So what we'll do is that you remember we learned attributes in VS Code, right? So we can use one of the attribute to modify this 1, 2, 3 and make it ABCD, right? You can see that like VS Code is automatically adding this 1, 2, 3. We don't need to add nothing. So I'll add another list element and it will automatically know that this is 4, right? I'll add another element and it will automatically know that this is 5. This is happening because of the DOM concepts we learned. So so like HTML, our browser is able to determine that how many siblings this li element is having. So it is having 3 siblings. So the next sibling should come at 4, right? So this is how in the backend things are working, right? Okay, so let's discuss how can we change this 1, 2, 3 to ABCD. So we'll use a attribute and the attribute is type attribute, right? In this OL tag, so you can add this attribute in the OL tag. So what I'll do is I'll just say type equal to, you can also see the definition of this attribute in VS Code very conveniently. So capital I or 1 can be used as attributes. Let's try all of them. So I'll just type is equal to, I'll just say capital A. So when I did this capital A, you can see the numbering has been changed to capital A. Let me add some more list elements, right, just to make things more clearer. So okay, so you can see that A, B, C, D, E are being added by VS Code itself, right? Okay, sorry, by the browser itself, right? And HTML is able to determine that this ordered list needs a type of capital A, which is capital A, B, C, D, right? Let's add the type of small a. So you can see like small a, B, C, D have appeared as the list orders. So I'll type I, and here you can see that Roman numbers have appeared in small letters, of course. If I type capital I, you can see Roman numbers have appeared in capital form, right? So these are all the types which you can use as your list, right? So one more thing I want to discuss here, that maybe you want some sub data inside this inside this like list item. So what you can do simply is you can type here, maybe you want to give sub data is also an ordered list. So let's say OL. So I'll type a OL tag, and what I'll do is I'll just say li into 3, which gives me 3 list tags. So you can see 1, 2, 3 is added as the subtype for this data 1, right? So you can see from here, right? So I can add data here, or maybe if I want type for this to be small a, I can simply give this OL tag inside this li tag. So this OL tag is becoming an ordered sub list for this li tag, right? So this is this li tag, and inside this li tag I've entered the data for this li tag, which is this, and the OL tag and the like ordered list, which is actually the sub ordered list, which is a sub list, right? And similarly in this list also, let's add some data. Let's add some data, maybe some random data. I'll just type some gibberish, right? Okay, so there's some random data here, and what I'll do is I'll add another like OL tag here, and you can see that once I add an LI tag, you can see there is another sub list to this A tag. So this one is the sub list to A tag, and so you can go on forever with this, and you can add sub lists, right? So this is how you can add sub lists in lists in HTML, right? So I'll just fix this data, right? Okay, let's just quickly fix this data. I'll just say sub data. This is sub data 1, and I'll say sub data 2. I'll just save, and that will reformat my code, right? So this is the sub data for this LI tag. Okay, so you can see that I have here, like here it is appearing as an error. So what I'll do, you can see this OL tag is being closed here only. So this is one error which may come, which may you may face also. So I'll just delete this, and you can see that our code is fixed, and sub data 1 and sub data 2 are have appeared clearly, beautifully there, right? Okay, so we discussed ordered lists. Now let's discuss unordered lists. Okay, so what about unordered lists? So for unordered lists, like you have ordered list OL tag for ordered lists, for unordered lists we have UL tag, right? So UL tag. Okay, so we have created an unordered list. Now again, the list is not visible on our screen, and why is that? That is because we have not entered a list element in this list, right? हमने कोई list element नहीं डाला इस list में. So what I'll do is I'll just simply add li. Li is used in both OL and UL, right, as a list item, right? So adding this list item, you can see a dot has appeared. This dot is actually not a dot, this is actually a bullet to some list element, right? So I'll just say data 1. So you can see a bullet has appeared here, and since this is an unordered list, so where do you want to give unordered list and where do you want to give ordered list? If you're giving any instructions, you might want to give an ordered list. If you are giving some features, maybe features of an application, or maybe you are trying to list something and you don't want to order it, so there you use an unordered list, right? Okay, so I've added data 1, and it is using a bullet format for this. It always uses a bullet format in unordered lists, right? So I'll just do data 2. Let's just add li into 3, and this adds the 3 bullets we want, and I'll just say data 3, data 4, data 5, right? So these are all the unordered lists in HTML. So don't get confused with this OL and UL. Abbreviations are simple. UL is unordered list, OL is ordered list. Li is basically list item, right? And these are all the tags we have discussed so far. So OL, Li and UL, right? Okay. So similarly, like we had type attribute in the ordered list, we also have type attribute for unordered list. Let's explore it. So type attribute. So what can be the type of type other than square? We may want to have square, other than circle, we may want to have square bullets. So you can see now the bullets are square, right? Okay, so if you want to have circular, like empty circles in this, so let's do it from style attribute also, right? So this is not important for the style attribute, is not important for the for like all of us, because we have already not discussed like CSS right now. Those who know about style attribute can or may use style attribute, and I'll just demonstrate how to do that through this only. So what you want to do, if you're not familiar with CSS, don't worry, we'll cover that in the course. This is not for you. So okay, let's quickly discuss it for the ones who need to see this, right? So what I'll do is I'll just add list style type. So this is actually CSS code I'm writing inside this HTML code, right? And what I'll say is I'll say a circle here. You can see empty circles have appeared in this list, right? If I add a disk here, so as a type disk, so you can see a type of disk is entered here, right? If I add maybe a square here again, so you can see a square has appeared as a disk. So you can use a type attribute, and maybe you want to use style attribute if you want to give other stylings, but we will be covering in this the style attribute in this course in detail, like in the upcoming lectures. So let's just ignore this for now. This was important for those who understood it, right? Okay, So okay, so let's now discuss sublists in this also. Similarly, in an ordered list, like we had sublists, we are also having sublists for this ordered list, unordered list. So what I'll do, I'll just add a ul tag here, and inside this data, and I'll just say li and sub data 1. So you can see that it has changed the type of this circle to a small circle automatically, like empty hollow circle automatically. Similarly here, I was using capital I here, and it has changed the type to small a, right, to distinguish between both of the lists, right. So this is how we can do this, like do this formatting, and we can add nested lists inside each other, right. So this is about the unordered lists, right. And we have discussed the type property for this also. We can also add more like sublists to this list by entering inside this. And one more thing we can do is we can maybe change the we can add an ordered list inside an unordered list. How do we do that? So just inside the subdata you add ol. So you can see one has appeared here, right. So ordering basically has appeared here, not one, basically ordering. So okay. Also I can add type here for this particular list. I can say a. So you can see a, b are ordered sublists for an unordered main list, master list, right. So this is how lists work in HTML. Let's quickly discuss the description list, which are the basic which are the tags dl, dt and dd. Okay, so these are basically description lists. These are not widely used in HTML, but they are important to be discussed, right, since they exist. So I should discuss them, right. So dl basically gives the abbreviation for like list. We had ol, ul. For ordered list we had ol. Unordered list we had ul. For description lists we have dl, right. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just add. So in this we have dt. Dt is what basically in this we were having only li only. In description lists we have dt and dd. Dt is basically description term and dd is basically description data, or you can say definition data. For example, you want to define some definition, so this is where this list shines. So let me just add some dt tags into 3. Okay, so I'll just add term 1 here, right. So you can see list has appeared, but term 1 has not got any bullets or 1 2 3 formatting to that. Let's see first. Let's do and let's see after doing this, right. So I've added term 1, term 2, term 3, and inside these what I'll add is I'll add dd, right, and definition for term 1. So you can see a little tab space, a little spacing has appeared between the indentation of term 1 and term 2, the term 1 and the definition for term 1, right. And if I do the same similar in all the other lists also, you can see a spacing has been appeared. It is like when you note down something in your notebook and you don't use a list, so you do term 1 and you write the definition a little bit aside to that term 1, right. So this is how description lists work in HTML, right. So this is the whole gist of lists in HTML. So we use basically the type attribute to change the type of the lists, and we can use li and ul and ol. So let me just quickly write all the lists in all the tags we've discussed in the video so far. So first tag was of course unordered list, right. So ordered list, so ol. Then we discussed li, then we discussed the ul tag, then we discussed the dl, dt and dd tags, right. So these are the tags we discussed in this like in this video. So I can add comment in VS. I can comment this code. So what are basically comments? So this is the code you might not want to send to the browser or maybe compilation. So these are comments. These are just for reading, right. So I'll just add this comment, and in this HTML, you like in VS Code, what you can do is you can type control plus backslash to add a comment, right, on that line. So if I add control plus backslash on this line, I can comment this line out. So this line doesn't contribute anything to the code. For example, if I comment this definition for term 3, you can observe in the browser it vanishes from the screen. So it doesn't go into the compilation, it just becomes something which a programmer needs to read. For example, some explanation as of why you've done this code or something like that, right. So these are comments, right. So in this HTML you can do comments like this, right. So we have discussed all these tags, right. in this video, and hope you got to know about lists and आपको सब समझ में आया इस वीडियो में. And let's I would ask you to give yourself some time and create some list like this, right, before moving ahead with this video, just to get your hands dirty, get your hands get your hands working with this, with programming and all, right. And this is how you would learn, by practically implementing it, right. We are moving at a really really slow pace, just to make you all comfortable here, right. And I hope that you're liking our videos. If you're doing so, then you should please like and subscribe to the channel, and that really helps AccioJob also and me also, right. So this is basically us, and let's jot down all the points of what we have learned here, and let's apply on the on maybe web page you want to create for your own, right. So this is about lists in HTML. Hope you're liking the videos, and until the next video drops, keep coding.